The boats are now lining up for the slalom event. Again, for those that would like to get a closer view of the slalom event live, you can go out to the pier located on the left-hand side of the shoreline. You could get a pretty close-up view of the slalom event from there. Hamarosan kezdődik a slalom verseny. Aki szeretné közelebbről megtekinteni, a parttól bal oldalra a móló végén közelebbről lehet látni. At this point, we see the boats moving into position. We seem to be waiting on a ferry to move out of the way. And as we're preparing for the slalom race, it is exactly what you would think from a standard slalom. It's a race element in which all teams have to complete a slalom around a series of buoys. One by one, the boats will have to complete a timed slalom. The start will be a running start, so they don't start from a standstill position. It's a running start. Once they pass a certain point, that's when they start measuring. All teams will be given one or multiple tries to set a time, and the number of tries will be announced in the general team briefing. Out of the number of tries, the lowest value measured is the one that will count. In case there's a mistake during the slalom, 3 seconds will be added to the time for every mistake, such as missing a buoy or hitting a buoy. In case of a tie, the boat with the least number of mistakes will be declared the winner, and if a tie still remains, each tied competitor will receive the same number of points. And they're off. Spectrum Solar Team in boat 1. Spectrum Solar completing their run. Racing concurrently with boats 3 and 4 moving into position. Solar Team Sneak and AGH Solar Boat. And they're off. With Solar Team Sneak maneuvering at a higher velocity, making the midway turn, followed by AGH Solar in lane 2. Solar Team Sneak already coming back. With Solar Team Sneak competing the slalom first, followed by AGH Solar. It is worth noting that with hydrofoil technology lifting the boats out of the water, that sort of design does give it considerable speed. However, sometimes there does seem to be a trade-off when it comes to maneuverability. Moving into position now for our next run is Whisper Power Solar Team, Team 5. And Team 5 is off. Boat 5 is off. Whisper Power Solar Team. They are running individually as Team 6 had a mechanical issue and is not able to compete. Whisper Power making the turn. And it seems they've had a malfunction. They have stopped right at the midway point. The pilot is doing what, trying to troubleshoot the issue. We're going to see if they can complete their run. It seems Whisper Power Solar Team is moving somewhat. There is some slight propulsion, but they are slowly making their way back to the pier. In the meantime, we see on the screen Solar Team Sneak, boat number 3. Doing a few practice runs back and forth. A few spectators were asking throughout the day what the main point of these competitions are, and it's really getting certain technologies to work together harmoniously. It's not just about speed, it's also about maneuverability. It's also about the efficiency of the panels and the batteries, storage capabilities, and about the strategy that the teams and the pilots use during the race. Here we see boat 7 moving into position. BME Solar Boat Team, boat number 7 moving into position. Along with boat number 8, Sunflare Solar Team. And they're off. BME Solar Boat Team from Hungary, Solar Flare Solar Team from the Netherlands making their slalom run. Solar Flare out to a considerable start, reaching the midway point and already making the turn. And Solar Flare completing their slalom run. BME Solar Team making the turn at the midway point. And completing the final leg of the run. And BME Solar Team also completing the slalom run. For our last two boats, moving into position, boat number 9, High Horizon Racing Team from the Netherlands, and Han Solar Boat, also from the Netherlands, boat number 10. Both boats are now in position, waiting for the start. And they're off. On Solar Boat moving out to a considerable lead. Reaching the midway point, making the turn. Followed close by High Horizon Racing Team, boat number 9. Also making the turn, slightly more gingerly. And boat number 10 completing the slalom. On Solar Boat Team completing the slalom. High Horizon Racing Team now accelerating into the final leg. And also successfully completing the slalom. Boat number 5, Whisper Power Solar Team, has just been removed from the water. So we will have 2 boats that will not be participating in the second run. Here we see boat number 1, Spectrum Solar Team from the Netherlands, and boat number 2, Pundon Solar Boat, getting ready for their second run of the slalom. And they're off. Spectrum Solar out to a very early lead. Already approaching the midway turn. They've made their turn. Pondon Solar Boat also making their midway turn. Spectrum Solar accelerating into the final leg. Pondon Solar making the turn. Gingerly, not accelerating though. And at this point they have begun moving, and they are completing the final leg. Both teams successfully completing the second run of their slalom. Our next 2 boats moving into position will be boats 3 and 4, Solar Team Sneak, boat 3 from the Netherlands, and AGH Solar Boat, boat 4 from Poland. And they're off. Strong start for both teams. With Solar Team Sneak out to an early lead, but slowing in their maneuverability. AGH Solar catching up. Solar Sneak making their turn at the midway point, as does AGH Solar. And both teams seemingly simultaneously in the final stretch of the slalom. And a close race, with Solar Team Sneak and AGH seemingly completing it simultaneously. The next run will be boats 7 and 8, since 5 and 6 are both out of the water. 7 and 8 will be BME Solar Boat Team from Hungary, and Sunflare Solar Team Boat number 8 from the Netherlands, moving into position. Boat 8 is in position. We're waiting on Boat 7, BME Solar Boat. And we have Boat 7 from BME Solar Boat moving into position. Both boats are now in position, waiting for the starting horn. And they're off. Sunflare Solar Team out to an early lead, already reaching the midway point and making their turn. And accelerating into the final stretch, BME Solar Boat approaching the midway point. Sunflare Solar Team completing the slalom. BME Solar Boat making the turn midway point and into the final stretch. With BME Solar Boat also successfully completing the slalom. And for our final run for the second leg, boats 9 and 10. Boat 9, High Horizon Racing Team from the Netherlands, and Boat 10, Han Solar Boat, also from the Netherlands, moving into position.
So take me for the night, but don't lie or pretend that when tomorrow comes, we'll be more than just friends. You know I want you, boy, don't you feel it too? You know I need the love that's deep inside of you. 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 Deep inside of you.
Boats 9 and 10 moving into position and waiting for the starting horn.
Deep inside of you.
And they're off. With boat 10 moving into an early lead on Solar Boat. On Solar Boat reaching the midway point and making their turn. Followed by High Horizon Racing Team as well, making their turn. On Solar Boat accelerating into the final stretch and completing the slalom run. Followed close by boat number 9, High Horizon Racing Team, also successfully completing the slalom. And that concludes the competition races for today. Results for today's races will be announced later on what the current standings are. A reminder to all teams that the pilot's briefing for this afternoon has been moved to 5:30. And at 6 o'clock will be the engineers workshop from 6 o'clock to 7:30, sponsored by Continental, held at the Continental tent on the shoreline. We invite everyone to join us tomorrow, as tomorrow, Saturday, August 23rd, we will be having our next series of races. Saturday will begin at 10:10 with the endurance race. And then in the afternoon at 1600, the top speed race. Also tomorrow will be a special added attraction, as in the evening from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the evening, we will also have the parade of boats, where the boats will be illuminated and they will parade throughout the harbor. We again would like to thank everyone for joining us today. We'd like to thank our sponsors, especially our main sponsor, Corcom, for sponsoring today's event. We invite you to stick around, take a look at the boats up close, and invite all of you back tomorrow to join us. And in the meantime, we wish everyone a very pleasant evening.